Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to present to you the release notes of Boyum IT's Beas Manufacturing 9.3 PL02. We're going to start out with the highlights and then outline the new features and improvements of the new release. Stay with me and get familiar with all that the new release has to offer. Let's see what we're going to discuss in detail in our video today. As part of the SAP and Boyum integration, we have added SAP bin location support, SAP purchase request from MRP, and B1UP Beas dashboard support. We're also going to discuss our new Webapps Terminal that includes stock improvement apps, goods receipt, goods issue, stock transfer, goods receipt PO, item information, inventory counting by list or by item, the work order apps, work order goods receipt, work order goods issue, work order time receipt and backflush, the attendance app for arriving and leaving, and the new web server for authorization groups. The new features of the fresh release include ATP function for non-APS users, work order BOM list modification, the automatic calling of allocation or reservation, and the multi-level short variant with default variant definition. We have improved several existing features like the QC transfer price, batch tracer, and version control at blanket agreement. We have enhanced our product configurator, the data integration mode, improved item history from MRP, APS planning with fixed overlapping, and also added new icons. As for the system landscape, we have improved the Beas installation process, boosted performance for screen loading and MRP, better memory allocation, and made several improvements with Beas script. Let us now begin with SAP integration. Now we support Beas bin management and SAP bin management, and the system is ready for the integration of Prodomax WMS bin management. The two systems work entirely differently and have different logic and structures. In Beas now, it is possible to read SAP bin locations at stock transactions from Beas, inventory history, backflush screen, and the new web apps. A new parameter allows to activate an SAP or Beas purchase request. You can select which purchase request variant should be used. The first time a database check is run, the system checks if there are purchase requests already used in Beas. If so, the variant Beas is set. This setting can be changed in the configuration wizard, material management, purchase request type. The creation of a purchase request using the SAP variant works similarly as with the existing Beas function. The difference is that now SAP's purchase request function is used. In the order recommendation list, the purchase request is shown as an SAP purchase request. In this new version, the system is ready to show the Beas dashboard in B1UP that is available since June of 2016. This version contains the updated views that are used by the dashboards, including item information on stock availability, quantities ordered, quantities produced, cost, average, and lot size. In the 9.3 PL02 version, the system is also able to display the Beas dashboard for production planning information. It shows work order progress, operation progress, on time for shipping, productivity, and scrap rate. The dashboard based on Beas Manufacturing information also includes the graphical representation of resource utilization. You can access graphs on utilization by group or by resource. You can check the utilization rate, the planned usage rate, and the interruption status. We are proud to introduce our new Webapps Terminal 2.1, which we're going to discuss in detail in this next section of our presentation. The new Beas Manufacturing web apps update a number of apps according to the latest Beas changes. These apps support SAP bin warehouse, item version, and GS1 128 barcode where applicable. Additionally, we're able to process multiple batches, serials, and multiple lines by app and provide a responsive design able to adapt to various screen sizes, activating more information on bigger screens like tablets or monitors. The following apps are available in our new version. Stock movement apps including item information, goods receipt, goods issue, stock transfer, goods receipt PO, and inventory counting by item or by list. Work order apps such as work order goods receipt, work order goods issue, work order time receipt, work order start and stop, and the log and log off attendance app. Let us discuss these three groups briefly now. We have three apps providing item information to check information by item or by batch serial number or information of a bin location, Beas or SAP. With the goods receipt and goods issue apps, we can create a manual goods receipt or goods issue with multi-line and barcode scan support. Similarly, our new stock transfer and app also comes with multi-line and barcode scan support. With the Goods Receipt PO app, it is possible to input a massive number of serials, and it also includes a barcode scan support. As for inventory counting, we provide two applications, one by list, where users can select the counting list and edit the quantity directly in the list, the other one by item, reporting which users can select the counting list and read the item barcodes and add quantities to an existing counting list without showing the counting list itself. Barcode scanning is also available with this app. Our 5 new work order processing apps create time receipt that considers the backflush process. In the work order goods receipt, you can add multiple lines, and bomb negative position is included. The work order goods issue app also supports multiple lines. The work order time receipt comes with backflush support for batch and serial selection, that is manual or automatic issue method consideration. And with the work order start stop apps, you can clock in according to the pull list resource selection or time type, and clock out with backflush support for batch and serial selection. Last but not least, our new attendance app, Log On, Log Off, can be used to report arriving or leaving for attendance module and inform about the status of remaining days of vacation and account. Our Webapps Terminal 2.1 also comes with a new web server. With the new version, we deliver a stable and fast solution, as this internal Beas web server does not need additional installations like Tomcat or Apache and is simpler to support. Once selecting it in the Tools menu, the web server is immediately available after the window has been opened. It consists of HTTP server and an application server, and no additional components or services are required. The screen displays an IP address and the port with which the connection can be established with any browser. Beas recommends using port 8080. The system does an automatic search for the next free port. And this can only be changed manually if the checkbox at Start Server is disabled. For supporting the new web app version 2.1, a new application group called Terminal 20 is available. For definition of basic settings and authorization groups, we only use the program group Terminal, which is the old web application and desktop terminal, together with a new web application. All definitions can be made in Human Resources, Master Data, Terminal Functions menu entry as for the old web apps. In the app list, you can see all applications for web version 1 and 2 and Terminal Desktop solution indicated with the respective icons. By clicking on the web desktop symbol, you can open the app settings. The order of the apps in the list can be changed by drag and drop. In the new web apps version 2, you can only see apps with this symbol. In the old web app version 1, you can only see apps with this symbol, and apps available only for Desk Terminal appear with the icon of a computer monitor. In the following part of this presentation, let's talk about other new features of the new version of Beas Manufacturing. The ATP function now allows calculating the possible delivery date from the sales order or quotation. It is based on CTP but without considering resource limit, calculates forward without checking time reservation, and it does not display existing time reservations. APS license is not required for ATP. All basic licenses can access it. If the user has no APS license in the context menu, description appears as available to promise, as indicated in this image, and if license is active, the function is named as capable to promise. With our work order BOM and routing modification, now you can change a number of values directly in the work order or routing list view. To do so, you have to go to Windows settings of the window and set the fields you want to change to changeable. Now it is possible to enable the automatic call of allocation or reservation when posting the first operation. This function allows customers to allocate or reserve the raw material instead of issuing during the first operation reporting. In this scenario, the customer can issue the materials at the last operation or use the backflush screen considering the material previously reserved. A new parameter to activate the option will be included in the configuration wizard. One of our new features is the short variant with default value. When a short variant is used at the order managed subassembly item, the current behavior does not allow selecting variant at the subassembly. For this reason, the system takes the variant defined for the finished goods for these semi-finished products as well. In the item master data bill of materials list screen, we now enable a field to allow the definition of the default value for the variant. Accordingly, the same subassembly can apply a different variant depending on the bill of materials that contains it. In batch and serial number tracing, transactions were shown for production, receipt and issue, production, backflushing, booking process, batch transfer, and split batch. Now we also show the transaction from a bin warehouse if the item is transferred from one bin location to the other. Our next usability improvement is the enhancement of the batch tracing feature. The user can open batch or serial separately from the menu, and validations in the screen will appear according to this. We have changed the title. As indicated in the two images, the screen can appear with two different titles depending on batch and serial number tracing. In the item drop-down and selection list, you can see only batch-related items in the batch tracer and only serial-related items in the serial number tracer. You can access the all batches and all serial screen by clicking filtering button right of the batch serial number field as in the image. As indicated in the all batches screen on the right, now we have information on version and attributes available, where only batch serial number was displayed before in the serial number batch number drop-down. Another improvement we have is the batch serial number drop-down itself. Whereas before preview or print functions only printed the left side of the window, now doing a right click and selecting print on the right window will print the right window. You can access the batch serial selection list by opening the all batch or all serial numbers window. The list of the items presented in the window now can be used for selection. You can either double click on a batch serial or click the transfer button on the bottom left to copy the item and the number in the batch serial number tracer. Also, all batch, all serial number screens now have the same functions, same buttons, like transfer if opened from batch serial tracer, edit, inventory history, and batch serial number tracer if the window is opened from the menu. Double-clicking on the left results side opens the tracer for the item, batch, or serial entry. Now it is allowed to mix serial numbers and batch numbers. In this case, Beas opens the tracer and serial number batch number tracer, as you can see in the top right image. In this version, we improved and added more views to allow users to access Beas information in a simpler way without knowing the data structure or the relationship between tables. Additionally, we provide the views with simpler names to understand and fields that give information calculated from the actual data of work orders. In light of this, you can create your own reports or screens with information in a simpler way. These views help create the dashboard in B1Up as well, and you can add more columns to be displayed in your dashboards. Our next feature improvement includes a new parameter in the configuration wizard. This parameter defines the price for a QC transfer when a receipt document is created, for example, when an item is converted in another item. The available values are last purchase price, last evaluated price, calculation price, source item actual cost, which is new for QC. Here the system will read the price from the issue document of the original item. The next value is source item price from entry, which is also new for quality control, and here the system will apply the price of the last entry of the original entry. The remaining two values are item valuation method and any price list number. This new parameter will apply when the option issue plus receipt is selected in the QC transfer screen. Our next feature improvement has been carried out in blanket agreement documents. Version control now is possible, and the right-click menu in SAP Documents also contains item version. We have also improved the display of blanket agreement information in MRP results. In the order recommendation list, the blanket agreements are displayed on the Inflow-Outflow tab. In the past, the moment a purchase order was created for the agreement, no other open entries for that blanket agreement were displayed anymore. Now, all purchase orders and blanket agreements are displayed. Before this version, item history was not available in purchase request and its icon was not always the same. Now, inventory history is available by right-clicking on a record and selecting the Invent History icon. In this slide, you can see the new inventory history and activity log icons. Normally, if an overlapping time is defined in operation, the subsequent operation can start after the defined time. For this version, we can decide if both parallel operations could start later if the subsequent resource is not available at that time. A new parameter called Overlap Limit Fix was created to change this behavior with a global setting. It is available in the Configuration Wizard Production Capacity Planning section. If the parameter is deactivated, which is a default option, the system calculates the overlap limit of the subsequent operation, considering the resource availability but not affecting the previous parallel operation. In case the resource is not available in an hour, the system will assign it the next time this resource is available. If the parameter is activated, the system calculates the overlap limit of the subsequent operation considering the resource availability but affecting the previous parallel operation. In case the resource is not available, the previous operation could start later to keep the fixed overlap limit defined. The functioning of the overlap limit fixed parameter can be seen in a Gantt view. The left image shows the parameter deactivated and the right one shows it activated. When overlapping is deactivated, the system moves the second operation number 20 1.5 hours later because the resource is not available in an hour. However, when the parameter has been activated, the second operation starts exactly 1 hour later because the resource is not available, and so 1 hour is kept in between. Our feature improvements include the area of the product configurator. In this next section, we're going to look at all of our new improvements in this functionality. Now we have a new central place to define configurations. A new menu entry called configurations has been added, and therefore a separate window is available from the menu in which you can define new or modify existing configuration definitions. This promotes a better overview on all definitions, better access control, and a central place for product configurator model. In the configuration window, you can see all existing configurations. Our optimization and fixes include correct titles. The yellow arrow opens the configuration or the item master data, and the search button is also functioning now. You can open this window from various screens, and Beas only displays the buttons relevant for the actual situation. Product configurator now has the save as function. Previously, when trying to save changes, Beas displayed an error message. Not possible, the variant is in use. The copy function was only working for saved configurations. Now, you can click on Save As and save the definition with a new number. No error message in use is displayed, and the changes you have made will not be lost. Previously, when the configuration was opened from a sales order or quotation, it was not possible to update the document with price, item description, and long description. It was only possible with Beas script. Now, you can update the sales document with price, item description, and long description from the configurator. This results in an easier usability and no scripting is necessary. Now it is also possible to generate the brief description and long description automatically for the product configurator. In the past, it was not possible to override them. After a change in the configuration, the manual changes were overwritten. Previously, if you deleted the field, Beas calculated the description automatically and changed the font color to black. Now, if you change the description manually, Beas does not override changes and changes the font color to blue. In the past, Beas did not control mandatory field status in the product configurator. Now you can define a parameter as mandatory. Now if a mandatory field is not filled, the status is draft. You can save the configuration, but you cannot generate a pre-calculation or work order for this variant. If all mandatory fields are filled, the status switches to complete automatically. The status can be changed manually, and when doing so, Beas changes the font color to blue. That is, manual change has a higher priority. Please note that this is not possible to change status to complete if not all mandatory fields are filled. You can now define up to 4 UDF fields in the product configurator as well. Additionally, it is possible to change the definition window with the Beas usability package. This allows you to insert more information in a configuration. The button functions have also been redesigned and all functions have been revised in this area. With the OK update, you can save and close the configuration. The old save button no longer exists. The delete button, by clicking on it, the definition window is not closed automatically. Deleting now is prompted. That is, the system shows a message to confirm deletion. And load variant, a new button is available here in the sub window. It is used to be the edit button, which has been corrected to load variant now. In the theory design, the input fields were not visible. Now all input fields have a new shape outline style, and the position of the input fields is now immediately visible in the theory design. Visual representation is also more enhanced with other design settings. In the following 5 slides, we're going to look at a number of improvements we have made in pricing. In the past, price determination required extensive scripting, which resulted in several performance issues, like formulae with DW, Java, and other systems. Only MS SQL was working. There was no parameter dropdown and no support of extended price lists, volume discount, special price lists, and many more. Now we support multi-currency price list, period discount, volume discount, customer price list, special price list, and agreements. In the background, we're using standard SAP Business One price valuation, and for high performance, we're using memory technology. Other pricing improvements include price determination by price list, formula by formula, MS SQL, JavaScript, VBS script, and many more. The placeholder for all important fields, Also includes manual price determination and invisible price determination, which is disabled for the entry in this image. We have also created a separate definition for the item for price determination and the quantity involved. You can use the parameter or enter the definition manually. From now on, no scripting is necessary to define the correct price, and all SAP rules are working correctly. We have added a new field for price determination by formula named parameter insert. Here you can see all parameters and special placeholders such as quantity, price from price list, total quantity, current user, and many more. The setup button is now also available in the product configurator definition. It allows the user to define customer, date, quantity, and the variant for testing the configurator. And our last improvement of the product configurator is in the area of formulas. Now you can define formulas and insert select comments with the keyword select, or in the old variant select in brackets as in our present example. In this latest release of Beas, we have added considerable system improvements as well. Let's take a closer look at them. In the previous versions, the installation of Beas proved to be problematic with Beas services running in the background. The services were not shut down and the installation would fail because of certain open files that couldn't be replaced. Now, in this version, the installation process recognizes all running Beas services and stops them before starting the installation. After the installation, when Beas starts again, the Beas services with starting type automatic are restarted again. As for performance, we have improved the loading of the SQL statement. Previously, if Beas opened the window, it loaded the form definition with SQL statement in the background. This is because Beas analyzes the SQL statement, which takes time, especially on slow machines or with complex SQL statements. Now, an integrated health system analyzes the process. If the process is too slow, Beas caches the result of the SQL analysis. When opening the window for the second time, the health system can reduce the delay time up to 50%, especially on slow machines. Performance issues before included long delay in loading windows with several tabs. This type of windows used to load every tab sequentially, and the window was available when all loading has finished. Now, Beas loads all tab definitions in parallel. Let's look at the figures and see how the screen opening time has improved for some windows. In case of the item master data screen, it used to take 1344 milliseconds. In case of the item master data screen, it used to take 1344 milliseconds, which has been reduced to only 860 milliseconds. The bill of materials at its screen opening has been reduced from 375 to 279 milliseconds. The routing position at its screen opening has been cut from 453 to 375 milliseconds, and the work order window can now be opened in 250 milliseconds instead of the 281 milliseconds before. We have also improved the loading time of the SAP form. If you open an SAP form, Beas is loading its own framework for this window in the background. Previously, this took time, and the delay to open a form with active Beas add-on was between 500 and 4000 milliseconds. After this improvement, there will be no delay in the future at the opening closing SAP forms. We managed to reduce the delay by Beas caching the framework in memory and not reloading it again when opening an SAP window. Our system performance improvements also include loading optimization of Beas form. Some windows with large functionality take considerable time to open. One of the reasons was the initialization of global functions which are saved in an SRC file. Now the system uses the include function to load the SRC files. This function is faster, especially in large files. As you can see in our example with a relatively fast machine, loading of the SRC file can be cut radically, and this results in considerable performance improvement. The related windows are only windows with a large number of functions: MRP order recommendation, Beas purchase request, goods receipt purchase, manual receipt transfer issue, item master data, work order structure, work order reservation issue allocation provision window, all SAP documents with Beas extensions in sales and purchase areas. When we run an MRP scenario, the system refreshes the field status every 10 seconds to provide a progress. In the previous version, Beas did a SQL statement for every line, which caused performance issues, especially in databases with many lines. Now, Beas creates only one SQL statement in the background and is equally faster for one entry or for 100 entries. If you open the order recommendation, Beas does not refresh the status while the order recommendation window is active and opens the order recommendation window as a child window. With the improved Beas script, we extended the possibility to add more user-defined fields than the existing 4. Now up to 15 UDFs can be stored in Tool, Utilities, Parallel, and Alternative tabs, of item master data, routing, and work order routing. This concludes our video on the new features, existing feature and system improvements and fixes of Boyum IT's Beas Manufacturing 9.3 P02. We encourage you to upgrade to this latest version of our solution and to keep in touch concerning any questions you might have. Please visit our community on the link below and stay tuned for our upcoming videos.